glad you mentioned the FDA in your comment there, because I see this all the time. And you see, and I see this in academia, and I see this all the time, that people go, oh, we've built this amazing model, and they do a press release and they get a paper in Nature, wherever they want to get it published. And then it's never going to see light of day because they haven't done any of the proper documentation. It's not engineered to be a software product. There's no general safety performance requirements. There's no software lifecycle planning, nothing. And it costs a lot of money to start doing all that again and do it properly. And that's why I've gone into that end of the AI spectrum, because I've just seen so many companies fail at that.
Hugh, building.
I have to echo that, because again, you know, as someone who has these models kind of lying around, it is not just that the last mile is hard, it's that there's no road, it's just a dirt field at this point, right? And getting to that place, recognizing that there's an entire industry that has spent decades and billions of dollars, the drug industry, right, the pharmaceutical industry, to do that last piece. And that is the hardest piece, right? That's the part we talk about the most now when we think about, and I know you'd like to talk about, you know, is AI, are these models the new drugs? Is that how we have to look at them? And if so, does that mean that we wait even longer? Because I can definitely endorse to you that a code base from a team of students and, you know, in an academic center putting together a model is not going to be ready for a commercial solution, right? That is very clear. So, you know, what does this mean for us?
Well, look, I'm known for saying that algorithms are the new drugs, and I don't mean that like literally they are drugs, but there should be a process by which they are verified and, you know, produced in a way that is safe. And when you buy them, you know exactly what's coming in the tin, and there's contraindications and all the sort of stuff that you need to know about. But they are medical devices. They are classed under all regulatory laws across the world as medical devices, and you have to build them to the recognized standards that have been around for decades and are slightly out of date and need improving, but they're there. And, you know, I've seen pitch decks from companies saying, oh, we can skip regulation because we're not a medical device. And I was like, you are, and you're just going to get a massive shock. And I see investors ring me up and I go, Hugh, I just invested 12 million in this company. They need a radiologist. I'm like, okay, what are they building? Oh, they're building this thing, blah, blah, blah. They're going to do a pilot in a hospital. I was like, great. Do they have CE marking? What's that? And he's just like, well, you're 18 months away from getting into a hospital, like, you know, and it's really painful for me to see.
Who out there as like current, and we're going to get to one of these questions. I think there's a good discussion or a question about sort of the medical culture and how we do have expectations of massive transparency of the data, right? The protocols are always out there for the trials, right? And so I think that's an incredibly important thing, because that's part of this I guess culture class. The move fast, break things meets first do no harm, right? That whole concept is definitely a tension that you feel all the time. I mean, Judy, at Emory, do you guys have, where are you in sort of thinking about, are you going to focus on homegrown solutions because you have the capabilities and skill sets there? If in terms of finding the use for AI there, or are you going to look at off the shelf? What's your thought around your approach there?
So, you know, and this is why one of the reasons that I came to Emory I just felt that maybe there was a potential to do impactful work without competition, right? And so that's another barrier for big academic centers, which what leads to this all small product, because you want to be the person who does it and want to be the person, you know, who's out there. So luckily at Emory, when I joined in, and also this is a phase of cycle when you join an institution, most of us were sort of at the same level. And so what's ended up has been just a fantastic collaboration between computer science and radiology specifically. And so we've built some stuff, but most of the time we do anticipate that in future, we'll probably be able to do good industry partnerships, specifically for collaboration. But I think our expertise is not, we're never gonna have strong engineers who can build models from scratch in terms of, you know, architectures, that will be our core expertise. So that's a waste of time. But what we have at Emory, and I've been to Indiana, then I went for my fellowship in Oregon. what we have in Atlanta is a very heterogeneous population. So if you want to see how your AI performs on Black patients, on different income patients, that's our hospital. We are a network of 10 hospitals, that one is completely in the suburb to one that serves, inner cities, a safety network for the hospital. So if I look at any research that I would have done in Indiana would have been a very homogeneous population. So our expertise and strength will really come from curating data sets, lowering the barrier for clinical validation. And I think that can be our contribution to sort of the AI. But obviously every person has interest, but I would say that sort of is a unification of our lab's activities. And so we are happy to release to work with others. And the time that I have spent, first of all, is just to become a better clinician. But now I see myself transitioning to sort of supportive role, making sure that we have the infrastructure so that when you have an AI model that you want to validate, we just really lower the barrier for you to test.
Judy,
so maybe less homegrown things, and more, if anything is going to come to product, it's most likely going to be an academic industry platform.
I agree. The other thing is, well, so I was just going to say, the other thing is that like every single hospital around the world who's got some computer scientists with them are doing the same things. Everyone is building a chest X-ray detection algorithm. Everyone is building a mammo detection algorithm. It's like, guys, come on. Why don't we, separate it out?
The name be cool, Hugh. The name has to be catchy, though.
Well, yeah, it's true. Yeah.